Okay, look, I know I say it's going to be a doozy often, every single episode, but it's it's going to be a doozy. All right, it's late, of course. I've been up for nearly 24 hours and I don't have much time to spare still. So we're going to get right into this and pray that the Lord takes hold and we can get something out of this, man. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storms, louder and louder. You wanna keep my praises warm. Singing worship songs over the circus. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Circus. My name is Tristan Sartores. Happy to be here with you guys, of course, all the time. That's a given. But I can't say things are always going well. And that's because they're not, and that makes life exciting. Anybody worth their salt gets to enjoy when things get a little bit chaotic and, life runs a little rampant. You have no idea. You have no idea what life wants to bring you, and you can't really be prepared for it. Yes, that's exciting. It's equal parts frustrating, for sure, but, at the very least you get stories, and that's fun. So I'm just in a point where... yes, I was accumulating just such mass responsibility and comfort in what I was doing and derailed. I don't know what trains sound like when they derail, but I hope it's similar to that. But dude, call me Lemony Snickets because life is bittersweet in a series of unfortunate events. I assume that's why his name's Lemony Snickets. It's like a sour Snickerdoodle? Or maybe it has nothing to do with that, and I just love food. I really do. I've currently been trying to fiddle with some DoorDash actually to soak in my sorrows at the moment, and it's not going well either, okay? I'll get to all the troubles in a minute, but my most pressing matter at the time is how do I get as much food as possible in front of my face as quickly as possible, regardless of dimes. And I still can't get it, okay? I've been ordering McDonald's and Sheetz and from gas stations and sushi, and I keep ordering things and everything's getting canceled. They're either booked or out of stock or it's too late and they're switching the menus over, and every single time I order it, they go, actually, just kidding. I wait 45 minutes, doesn't come. And then I can't cancel it, but I have to order another thing, and then everything just keeps getting pooled back into the same credits account. I'm like, can you put that back in my original account so I can reorder? Like, you know what? Enjoy some DoorDash credits. Like, I didn't want DoorDash credits. I mean, I'll use them. But I didn't want to order 6 meals either, all of which that still aren't happening. So I'm waiting. Hopefully I can pull something out of thin air, and we'll see what that can bring. But at the time being, I need to accomplish something slightly productive, and hopefully that, throws a little bit of energy my way as well. So it was nice that I was fiddling with the little DoorDash people, and luckily they don't often speak English the best. So you're just like, well, this is what happened. They go, yes, please. And you're like, that doesn't fit what I was saying. I'm like, okay, well, I need money. I need that to come back to me. And they go, oh, I understand. Thank you. You're the best. I go, what? But the best part of them not really getting the gist is sometimes they just go, you know what, shut up. And they just give you the money. And it goes back to your account. That hasn't worked out entirely tonight, but hopefully we get to that point. I did make about $15 in free DoorDash credits. It's like, you'll run into somebody who might just be having a tough time in the customer service section. I'm never like angrily all caps. I'm just like, hey, can I get something to my door? What's the issue? And they go, you're so kind. Take some money. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Just have it. So I'm making money. Slowly but surely. Maybe not morally or emotionally are we climbing, but financially we are making it into another tax bracket, at least in DoorDash credits, because sure enough, it is not going back to my bank account, but hopefully it will find my stomach. So you just gotta fiddle around, okay? Mess with the vocabulary. It always reminds me of, I don't even know exactly what I said, but I remember feeling so stupid at one point where I was on a modeling call. It was an audition for Hollister, and I had driven 3 hours down to Columbus for it. And I came in, I was so excited and nervous and also exhausted from running around and trying to find this place. And I came in with my resume and my headshots and my modeling portfolio. And I give it to them, and they're like, we actually don't do that anymore. It's fine. And then I'm like, okay, well, where do I go? They're like, okay, first take your jacket off. And I meant to say, yes, of course, for sure, or thank you. I was like, please. And I don't know what I was trying to say, and I remember them laughing at me, and I think about that every single time either someone says something that doesn't make sense in return, or I do as well, and I go, oh, still haven't figured it out. I did it earlier today at Dollar Tree, and I meant to say, have a good evening, have a good night, but I just left, dude. I mean, when you turn around and go, okay, so here's what happened. I was trying to say a bunch of different things at the same time, and it didn't work out. I went, okay, yeah, right there. That's basically what just happened. I was gonna say you hate to see it and you love to see it. There's two wolves inside of me, and neither of them know how to speak English. But it happens, man. It happens. So you either be the sane person at the Dollar Tree, or you live long enough to become the weirdo. I don't really know. But anyway, you know what? I'll give myself a little bit of grace. It is late. But yeah, I think about that Hollister thing all the time. And no, I did not get the job either. I also, so this is another thing of like misunderstanding the tone, at least, where it was supposed to be like they wanted a cool, hot model, right? And they're like, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I'm trying to be funny and just like sort of goof around with them. And I don't remember all that I said again, but I remember going on and on about how I had never stepped in a bear trap. Keep in mind, I'm not a child at this point, okay? I am, or should be, a fully thinking adult. And I'm like, dude, I've never stepped in a bear trap. And people have tried. And I was trying to be funny or do some sort of bit, and it did not go over well. The lady was like, Tristan, you are so darn cute. And I thought that was like, I got the job, but that's just not what they were looking for at all. And skedaddled. And yeah, so that's what I've been thinking about, man. That's what I've been thinking about, and it continues to haunt me every day that I don't learn how to speak and I don't learn how to read the room. And I go, oh, one day, man, one day I'm gonna figure out how to be a cool guy and get my money back into my bank account. Oh yes. But anyways, the biggest L that I'm facing right now is my car blew up. Or is misfiring. More car troubles, okay? You take for granted the peace of mind that you have and just being able to ride 4 or 2 or many more wheels to and fro, okay? Trying to get to a place, not even safely all the time, okay? I don't mind a little bit of chaos. Somebody almost hitting me, somebody yelling at me, flicking me off. All right, I'm fine with just a little bit of chaos in the road, but as long as I can get to and fro. And that's nice, and you forget what it's like when you can no longer get to and fro. And you hop back in your car, and it goes... My car was speaking the way that I tend to. It just did not know how to make the right sounds. So I hopped in there, man, and I don't know if it's spark plugs or the engines, but only 2 of the 4 cylinders were firing, and it's just unbelievable fortune, man. Unbelievable. After everything that's happened, the alternator, the battery, the wheels, and many, many more issues. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm low on oil. And I dump $40 worth of oil into the car. And he goes, that's not the problem. You know, and he's like, I just don't know how to be a car. And it just quit. It just quit, dude. And the worst thing that happened is that I had 3 vehicles. I had 3 working vehicles, man. And I chose this one. Okay? Imagine you had 3 children, all of them good in their own right, but you think you see the prodigy. You think you see the one that reminds you of you. It's going to really, achieve your destiny that you can live vicariously through. You're like, I choose you. It's like the Pokemon, all right? Choose your starter pack, and I choose this car. And these other vehicles, they go on delusions of grandeur, maybe, but at least they're succeeding and they're getting to and fro, and my stupid idiot Charizard doesn't do anything, keeps dying. Like, oh, I picked the wrong kid. I rode with the wrong horse today, man. And the day after that and the day after that, you pick a bad one. So we'll see. I don't know if we're gonna fix it or just kerchunk it, but it sucks because I was hanging out with some friends and vibes were high. All is well. The day had ran long, and it went from, oh my guys, this has been such a pleasure. I love being with you. This is the greatest. We're taking photos of the full moon. Wow, life is good. It couldn't get any better. And I even preface, because the last time that my car had broken down, I put on a serpentine belt that I believe is just a little bit too small, and it squeaks a little bit when it starts going, just for the first 10 seconds or so. And so I'm prefacing, all right, guys, I'm sorry. It's late. It's going to be loud. The car is going to be loud. It wants to be loud. That's just the way that it is. Car ain't making no noises, and the very few mumbles that it can escape its dying lips are disturbing and gross and blasphemous, to be honest with you. So it was embarrassing on so many different fronts, dude. And it's just another one of those things where, hey, you got to give it up to life, dude. Not only did the car not break down, okay, let's give some props. Thank the Lord. I got there safely, right? But the car didn't just break down randomly. It waited until there was an audience. It waited until the moment where I was stranded somewhere else. And it waited just until I declared extra attention of all times. And then they're sitting there in the driveway watching. Okay, is he gonna freaking take off at some point? Don't worry, I got. Oh my gosh. It's just a blast, man. You gotta, dude. There's nothing sweeter, and it's unfortunate. Not only because I haven't solved this solution to my car or what's to come from this yet, all right? We're still in the middle of the night. I'm not out of the woods yet by any means, but I can appreciate just, getting to see the scenery. I can appreciate getting a different view of the tree line, and it's just nice, dude. It's nice to get a good story. It's nice to be in the weeds sometimes, and that's not always easy to appreciate in the moment, because I can recognize how much it sucks, but also how silly, what are the chances? Pretty good if it's going to keep on happening, but that's where and I have to thank my friend Bree with all that I have. Genuinely, she drove me back home. It's like 45 minutes to an hour, and then drove back to her house at 4 a.m. And it's not only is that a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you didn't need to do that, but I always appreciate, I've talked about this many times with people who just listen to this podcast, but anybody who gives me time at all to hear me practice a joke or the podcast or an impression, to come hang out with me or to drive me an hour in the middle of the night, like I recognize just how precious other people's time is. I'm fine when my life sort of goes astray, and I'll figure it out. Things are going to work out. It's going to be all great. But I do feel supremely bad when I drag other people into the fold, because they don't always appreciate the woods. I understand that, because the woods are gross, and there's creatures and witches and bugs and mud. The woods are not always pretty until you can get back out. So I feel bad when I drag other people in, but I'm just so grateful that I have people in my life that are willing to help me there. So it's maybe a little bit easier for me to go, I love when things go wrong. So who's gonna bail me out of this? And that's kind of where I'm still at right now, where I got to get to my aunt's in just a few hours, and I'm texting my family where I'm about to record this, then crash, and they're probably going to be texting me like, okay, well, what's the deal? We got to formulate a plan. I'm going to be snoozing, and we'll see who's willing to lend a helping hand. Oh man, I love it when things go wrong. Don't you all? But I think I can say that not just because I love the stories, but because I am so very fortunate to have the friends and family that I do in my life. So we'll see how it goes. But at the very least, you got to appreciate a chaotic and just lemony snickerdoodle story. So that's where we're at right now. And that's like a couple hours from now problem. That's eventually when I get food to come to me, then we'll go about trying to solve the world's problems, and we'll see. But it is a bit unfortunate because I was excited, man. I went to the comedy club this week, not to perform, but I found a newer comedy club nearby that I don't know how long they've been doing open mics, but I saw it just pop up recently, and I wanted to go check it out because the last couple I've investigated were sort of just like hipster diners, and they're not, really built for comedy. But this was like a full comedy club, and people were doing 5-minute sets. There were some magicians, there were a couple visual aids, and there was a couple, just they were like heckling, but with the mic. It was interesting. But for the most part, there was people that were trying to tell jokes. They were working on jokes, and I love that, man. And at an open mic, yes, there's not always the best material, but I've noticed. So I'm not like a great laugher when it comes to like a true, genuine laugh till you cry. I think there's few people that will like genuinely break me on the planet, but I think I am a great chuckler, okay? Like, I do love to laugh, and I'll laugh at most things, even if they're not funny. I think even the idea of somebody trying to be funny is funny. And not like oh, look at you, you're failing. But I love the idea. That's why dad jokes are funny to me. I love anybody who's in a good enough mood that they want to tell jokes. Like, just the idea of like, hey, we're here, like, let's have fun. Like, that's just... There's something so jovial and exciting and whimsical and childish and fun, and it's not just like a reactionary laugh, but it's just joyful. And I love being there. And I notice sometimes I'm the only one in the comedy club laughing at a joke, and sometimes it can be offensive too. Like, they'll tell a bad joke, but I'm like, they're trying to tell a joke. Like, I'm just happy. I'm happy to be there, man. And I want to see the peeps succeed. But I also want to be the one up there doing that. So we'll see. I don't really have a vehicle to get back there now. My plan was to try and accumulate a couple new 5-minute sets, always making it harder on myself than just repeating the ones that I have. But I want to try and write something together and see if we can make something happen. Again, you gotta solve your foundation before you start trying to build different additions. Or like, hey, do you want to have a shed on the property? It's like, hey, look, the basement's flooding. We do not have time to be thinking about what we should be doing here. So it's good, man. It's good. So I'll sleep like a baby. I'll tell you that much, guys. I think I might have cracked the code to sleep. Not right now because things are in disarray. But I've been sleeping to the sound of thunderstorms. I'm cranking the AC at night with a fan in my face and the sound of just a disastrous thunderstorm, and it's so peaceful, dude. I'm just in my bed freezing and holding on for dear life like I'm Odysseus in the sea. Brave the storms! And it's the greatest thing in the world. I think thunderstorms in general are pretty pleasing. I don't know if that's a very commonly held opinion. I would have to imagine so, but I love the idea of noise. Like, I have it cranked up pretty loud. I love loud noise, whether that's a show or a thunderstorm. I could honestly sleep pretty well to heavy artillery. Just get down. Oh, my leg! I'm gonna get you home. Like, I just grew up in such a loud house. Like puppies that just sleep in this pile and they're all over each other and they're whimpering and they're barking and there's noise, dude. I love noise. I sleep the best with noise. And I don't know if that's necessarily conducive to most people falling asleep, but I also have been struggling to fall asleep. So if I'm just the oddball, then I need an oddball approach to sleep. Speaking of the Odyssey, dude, I had a dream about the Odyssey, not the movie itself, but going to see the movie, which I again loved so much that I'm reading the book, dude. I can't remember the last time I loved a piece of art so much that I wanted to try and consume it in another medium. But anyways, I digress. I went to go see the movie, and Christopher Nolan was there, and he was just throwing out Pokemon cards, and I wanted the movie to start so bad, and thing after thing after thing kept happening, and people were screaming and lighting fires, and I guess it was kind of like thematic of the film, but at one point he just starts mixing his coffee, and he goes, "Watch this," and he yells, "Oversell." And the crowd loses their minds, and they bolt out of the theater. I go, "What's oversell mean?" He's like, "It's kind of like your taxes, like we took too much. We charged too much for popcorn, so now we're going to give popcorn away for free." And I was like, "Really? That's so exciting." I start filming it, and this girl next to me, she goes, "Are you a creative?" I go, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You're filming this. You seem to be a creative person." And I go, kind of. I like comedy. I like stand-up. I have a comedy podcast. And she goes, "Oh, comedy. Comedy's the lowest form of art." And I just remember her scoffing so hard that I woke up. And that was it. I never got to see the Odyssey, but there was just the stupid little pieces and puzzles that kept me from viewing it. But I'm excited. Honestly, I need to go see it again, dude. I've seen it a couple times. I love it. It's awesome. There's something, I talked about it in depth in the last episode, but there's few movies where they just keep hitting you with multiple beats and multiple things that kind of sting you, man. And they land in every which way. I'm going to try and give it a month, maybe, like when you really, you take something in and immediately it's the greatest thing in the world, and a week, a month, or a year later, and you revisit and you're like, was I just a product of the hype? I don't think I am, because I know there's plenty of people who are having beef with the movie, actually. Again, different complaints. The big one that I'm seeing right now is the sex scenes, and that there were none. There were no sex scenes in the Odyssey, and people are losing their minds over it, dude. Everyone's blaming Gen Z. Why doesn't Gen Z like to watch sex scenes? What's the deal with sex scenes? Why can't I count the wrinkles on a man's ballsack anymore? I need that. What is A Wrinkle in Time about anyway? Like, I don't know why people want it so bad. They believe it's so crucial to the narrative, and I disagree. I think 99.100% of the time, you can apply exactly what you need to. Show it leading into if you got it, but you can apply the emotion and the intimacy regardless. But people, they just want to see a man's butt crack so bad, and it's quite honestly annoying, but I was thrilled because they told a story without having to do that. All right. They're like, it's so crucial to the plot. It's like, I was able to pick it up with any sort of reading between the lines. I was like, oh, I get it. I didn't need to see 7 minutes of uncomfortable grunting in ballsack. 7 minutes of ballsack. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But if you're looking for 7 minutes of ballsack, and I can assure you it's not in the Odyssey. But it's messed up. Like, what a wicked complaint. There's plenty of places to go and find that if that's what you need, man, if you need that to survive. But I hate to say it, but it's probably a bit of a porn addiction, or more just making it the norm that we have in our lives, dude. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to shame anybody for their interests or their own battles and struggles and addictions. I get that. Everybody's got their own hills to climb. But I think there probably could be a little bit more reservation or shame about declaring what needs to be here so I feel good, so I feel like this is the norm, if that is the case. Or there very well might be people just going, I just simply can't get through a film without any nudity. I don't understand the plot if there's not boobs. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I think that's a little bananas, like I need to have my thing in here. That's like me going, I don't really get the Odyssey. There was not a single pack of peanut M&Ms. I just couldn't quite believe it, dude. Are you telling me nobody in that film had Dash Pass? I'm pretty sure we're all enduring the same love of gluttony that I am. So it's just kind of, it's bonkers. I guess that's kind of what peer pressure is in general, where it's just sort of that, oh, you're not doing this, you should have this. And if you're not having that, then I'm upset now. And that happens with smoking or drugs or alcohol, dude. That just happened to me a couple days ago, where I don't really put myself in a lot of party situations often, but when I do, it's always amazing how fast people ID the fact that I'm not drinking, besides the fact that there's not one in my hand. But it's within 5 minutes they go, hey, what are you drinking? You're not drinking? Why aren't you drinking? Have a drink. And I also I try not to bring it up, not because I think I'm better than it. I just know what my body is capable of and what, would cause a bigger problem for me. So where then I'm like, you know what, there's no alcohol in the Odyssey. And, I have a good feeling that's where I would lead. But I'm always worried it's going to come off as some sort of high and mighty, like whatever. And that's how people internalize it as well. So I just go, it just doesn't really agree with me. I just don't think it's built for my DNA. And it becomes competitive. I think people, again, it just happened where they get like defensive over it. They go, well, what's your reason? Oh, my reason's even worse than that, and I'm still doing it. My family struggles with it, I'm still doing it. And I go, well, you know what? Everyone's different. You try this, everyone's different. That's okay. And that doesn't really, like, the deeper you get with somebody, it's hard to negotiate, the more inebriated somebody is. And they start basically competing for who has the worst, luck of falling ill to this, and go, as long as you're able to function on it, hey, that works. Like, well, I'm not able to function on it. Well, I don't know what you want me to say. Stop. Like, are you looking for somebody to say don't do it? But it's just a bit of a interesting little hurdle that you go through sometimes, you suppose. I will say that at this party, dude, I played and won my first game of Pong and competition of Pong. I've never played Pong ever in general, and I was pretty proud of that. And then I remembered that everybody was drunk. So, don't get me wrong, I'm a bucket, I'm a sharpshooter, call me a pirate, because I'm a deadeye, just but there were people who were definitely throwing it into the bushes. You go, okay, well, I have as many tries as I want, because I know you're gonna be missing the table for sure. And they had all the power-ups and getting hot, fire, freeze blast. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Party was a good time, man. It was a birthday party for the friends I was actually just hanging out with, Bree and Kiera. And I was stressed, dude. I was stressed because, look, I don't go to that many themed parties. I don't really go to that many parties ever, because when I tend to be the lame guy, Oh, why aren't you doing this? You think you're better than me? And go, well, yeah, but not because of this. I'm kidding. But I was so anxious because I never want to take away from the excitement and just sort of be reserved and not engage. I think that's probably because I don't indulge in some things, so I feel like I'm a stick in the mud. But I wanted to come in with a costume and be extravagant and exuberant, and I bought this elephant onesie and some circus costume, because it was a whole like carnival party. And I wanted to add to the whimsy and the flair. And unfortunately, it was so freaking hot, dude, that I couldn't wear it. Okay. I came in wearing it in the car, and I had to take it off while driving, by the way. I don't know if you've ever tried to take off a onesie, let alone an elephant onesie. So you got to get this freaking, trunk out your face. And it was difficult, but I felt bad because I couldn't even contribute in the costume factor. And it took me forever to even think of that. I was like, well, who's not going to have an elephant costume? And I was so excited, and I didn't even indulge in it. But more than that, the gifts, dude, I love to give gifts. It's one of my favorite things. I'm not expecting anybody to cry, I'm not expecting to go, well, you know what, I was having a bad day, but that turned everything around. It's not going to be a showstopper, but I want people to feel acknowledged or seen, or like, oh, he heard that one thing and got it, remembered. And I want it to be meaningful in some capacity. And because of that, wanting it to be special, I was so stressed. There was so much anxiety over these things that no one's going to think anything about 5 minutes after they open and go, well, thanks. It's gone. It's already over with. But I did it here. I do it for Christmas. I do it for other birthdays. It's again, one of those things that you care about and you want to be right. And, man, I just wasn't going well, dude. It wasn't going well. And again, it's already gone. It's already moved, but it sucks, dude. And also, not only sisters, but twins. So they obviously share the birthday, and it's a whole other battle in trying to get a gift. You're like, that's a good gift. Oh, but that is it as good as the gift? So maybe I had a pretty top tier gift for one, but it's like, oh, but I don't have a gift that could match that, but financially I could up that, but then that one doesn't equal the same. So you're playing some sort of weird mathematical game and trying to, calculate emotions, which does not go well into gift giving. And I fumbled, man. I fumbled. So it was the journey. So it is what it is. And I don't know how well it landed, but I will say it landed well enough that Bree was able to drive me home tonight. So, again, thank you, Bree. It means the most in the world. I hope next year's gift will be gas money. But, guys, I think that's pretty much all I have to talk about. The sun's rising, and I appreciate you and love you guys to itty bitty pieces. Hope any of this made some sort of sense. I feel like I've definitely been all over the place, but when am I not? But we'll see if we can start putting out a few of these fires, and I'll report back to you next week. But again, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here. It means the most in the world. Whether you're doing dishes, on the treadmill, in the background, you might have just been listening to this on your phone, but then you dropped it behind the couch, and this is just playing right now. And you're trying to find your phone, and you're trying to squeeze behind it, okay? And whether your baby's crying, and your dog needs to get back outside, and you just don't have time to get me out from under the couch. But you know what? Even if you didn't want to hear it, I'm glad you were here, and I'm glad to spend time with you. And I'll see you in the next one, 'cause I love you! Oh, peace!